Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sulakshana, host for this webinar on behalf of Wadhwani Foundation, National Entrepreneurship Network. As we begin the session, would like to take you through the phenomenal job that WFNEN is doing in supporting startups, early stage and growth stage entrepreneurs, and SMEs to grow their business. They provide a great free mentoring and learning platform to those who come and register at wfnen.org and connect them to experienced and expert mentors along with investor connects. The mechanism is a very straightforward approach with goal-based, time-bound and structured mentoring. Enrich yourself connecting to 400 plus mentors from various fields of work and make a difference. As we begin, I'm so pleased to be with you and to have the chance to introduce our speaker, Shubho Sengupta. Shubho is a brand consultant in the digital space with both traditional and new media marketing experience. He helps some of India's most visible brand approach digital from a marketing point of view. He has been associated with agencies like Ogilvy, Leo Burnett, and JWT. His digital journey started with the leading digital agency, Interactive Avenues, Rediffusion, YNR, and Coca-Cola India. He has also founded the personal branding agency. When time permits, he conducts digital or social media workshops for brands across India and the region. He is also a frequent speaker at seminars, Internet and Mobile Association of India, Commonwealth Digital, etc., and occasional lectures at management institutes. As we begin, request participants to mute audio appliances. After the presentation, we would have a discussion for around 20 minutes where Shubho would answer your question. So please send me relevant questions over chat, which would be answered at the end of the session. I'd love to have your feedback on today's session. Your input and suggestions for future session are invaluable to me. So please leave your feedback on the poll and survey. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Shubho. Over to you, Shubho.
Well, thank you very much, Sulakshana, and welcome to all participants. I hope both of us kind of have a good time, learn from each other. So I'll start off with a couple of slides from the Wadhwani Foundation. The first 2-3 slides, like Sulakshana took you through. Can you hear me clearly, Sulakshana?
Yes. Yes.
Do you think everyone can hear?
Yes. Everyone can
wonderful. Okay, wonderful. So as Sulakshana kind of preface, then the Wadhwani Foundation supports entrepreneurs. I will not read anything. She's told you more or less the gist of it, but I'm just quickly taking you through the slides. Okay, and finally, I think this is the last slide, funding support for entrepreneurs. This is Investor Connect, it's a Pitch Lab, Loan Connect, engagements with angel investors and so on. Okay, all right, okay, thank you very much. And so I'll start off with a little background about me. I'll keep it as short as possible. I started off in traditional advertising, print actually, okay, then moved on to other forms, in traditional, which is, TV, radio, outdoors, of course, other things. Okay, and at some point, I think about 8 or 9 years back, I kind of moved on to digital. Okay, and I've been, both on the client side and the agency side, and I'm also a quote unquote startup entrepreneur at this point. Won't get into details. All right. So broadly, I have experience in both, traditional and new media, also called digital marketing. And what's happening is, there is no such thing as digital marketing. It's just marketing, with the digital code. That's where the world is headed. So I think, okay, all right. Now I'm going to play you a little video. It's for an organization, a company called Best Buy. And it kind of gives an interesting idea of how digital can be used. Okay, this is actually about 7 years old. Okay, let's just go back. Sorry. Yeah, I always play this video at the start of every, any work. Oh, I always play this video at the start of any seminar workshop that I do because it's a great example of digital marketing, real-time digital marketing. And I'm sure most of you figured out what was happening. There were a lot of complaints about this, electronic retail giant, online complaints. That's what the research, the feedback showed. And so these guys created a Twitter helpline of sorts, okay, to handle these customer complaints in real time. And there were staff from Best Buy who had admin controls of the Best Buy Twitter page, and they answered questions relating to Best Buy products, also rival products in real time, and the complaints started going down. That's what's happened. So it's a case study. It's won a lot of truck full of awards 6-7 years back, and it still remains one of the great case studies of what digital can do for a brand. Okay, all right. So let's start off. What are we going to do in the next half an hour or so? We're going to kind of, I think that two words that would kind of encapsulate what we're trying to do is strategy, digital strategy. Okay, that's what we're kind of headed towards, and hopefully by the end of the program, or of this workshop, this webinar, sorry, we'll be able to figure out how to kind of put together, identify the elements that kind of go into the digital strategy mix, and write a good digital strategy for your ad agency or for your brand or for yourself, your personal brand, okay, and kind of take it from there. All right, okay, so this is what you see right now. I'll just stop here and ask Sulakshana, am I clear? Sulakshana?
Shubho, you are clear, but there are few background
noises. Okay, wonderful. I'll carry on.
That can be eliminated. Yeah, fine.
Yes. Okay, there's background noise. We'll try and keep it down, but this we'll see. Okay, so this is what the digital landscape is like, and don't look at the website bang in the middle, though this is the standard classic illustration. The website is no longer at the center of your existence. It could be social media marketing, it could be a blog, it could be a video driven kind of channel, it could be offline also, it could be a television station for all it could be many different things, and more importantly a mixture, kind of a mix of different platforms. Nobody really knows, I mean, it's kind of very fluid right now. Everything is connected to everything. Okay, All right. This is a little light-hearted look at various social platforms. Okay, I'll just take you through it for the benefit of people who are kind of new to certain platforms, and I'm sure most of you know. Okay, so yes, there's Facebook. If you look at it as samosas, donuts, to kind of Indianize the context, it's I like Facebook is just announcing. It's very good for a basic announcement kind of thing, at a superficial level. Surely there are other things you can do with Facebook, including sell stuff, but at a basic level, it's announcing that you like donuts. Twitter is very good for real time, which is I'm eating a donut, and the things have changed a little bit. So there are people who use YouTube as a primary marketing channel. Okay. I'm sure some of you have heard of Gary Vaynerchuk. He got famous by selling wine through his YouTube channel, right? And there's of course Pinterest, which is on the way up, way out. For that matter, Facebook is also a little on the way out, so some people say. Anyways, Instagram is the new kid on the block, and I know people who sell a lot of stuff on Instagram, I mean, small business owners. This webinar is also about small business owners. So if you're a startup, consumer kind of startup, if you have small business, do think of Instagram first, perhaps before Facebook sometimes. There's also LinkedIn, of course. It's very good to, it says my skills include donut eating or samosa eating in this place, but it's fantastic to target professionals. Like if you're looking at IT professionals in France, for example, that's exactly what I was doing this morning. LinkedIn is my first port of call. Then there's Foursquare and Google Plus. I'm not sure they're around, especially Foursquare. Okay, Quora is Q&A. It's like a social media of questions and answers, and it's very good, but more at an individual branding level than at a company level. Though if you have a small business, you should be on, with interesting things to say, you should be on Quora too, right? So broadly, that is it. Okay. Okay. This is another little, humorous aside, if you will, something I kind of showed in the earlier slides. So, your brand, your SME, whatever you call it on digital. And digital is such a, what should I say, nebulous, cloudy kind of thing. Sometimes it's not meant to be, but some people, some of us, including me, make it to be, so the competition, the sales team, the media agency, the brand manager, the fan, the social media agency, all have various ideas of what the brand is on digital, sometimes. Oftentimes, very few people agree with what the brand is doing or should be doing on digital. So be careful. That's just warning. Okay. So I'll kind of skip this thing straight in the interest of time. I mean, I can always share this deck with you. Not an issue at all. Sulakshana, you can write to Sulakshana, you can write to the Wadhwani Foundation. And anyway, so this tactics and the strategy, what you usually see as a consumer, as a customer on wherever it is. It could be Google, or it could be social media, it could be an app, it could be an e-commerce site. What you see from a communication perspective is tactics. It's just the tip of the iceberg. But if you go a little down, if you scratch the surface and go inside, you will see there's a lot of content planning happening, a lot of audience analysis happening. It's like behind the TV screen or your laptop screen. There's a lot of social media monitoring happening through, sometimes very basic tools like Google Alerts, and sometimes very sophisticated listening tools, which spy agencies use sometimes, right? Okay. So strategy is king. If you don't have strategy, your tactics are bad. You're not going to sell. Okay. So now, before we get into anything else, let's if you get a brand, you've got your SME, small brand, whatever, and you want to do something on digital. Okay, you want to do something on mobile, or a mix of social platforms, or a mix of online or offline. What do? You do an old-fashioned SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you start with strengths. What do you do? What do you do better than your competitors? Is there a cost advantage? Is there a speed advantage? Especially for e-commerce, do you have an advantage in delivery? Do you have an advantage in brand equity, recognition, etc.? Okay. Normally, you don't have any brand equity if you're starting off, right? Okay. What are your weaknesses? If you're entering the party late, what are the areas of social media that your competition is doing better? What are the areas you're particularly weak in, right? This is again a future casting kind of question. Have you lost online equity due to any interactions within social media channels? I mean, as in, have you goofed up? Do you have a bad reputation? Of course, there's opportunities. Are there any new emerging channels where you can gain an audience? As in, is your audience already somewhere where you can just go and tap in? Okay, connect with them. Next is, are there other ways where you can streamline the process for customers to interact, engage with your brand? Okay. The obvious answer is yes, do something on social media, Facebook maybe. Okay. And of course, have you effectively positioned your brand as an expert in the field? Expert in the field, as in, it could be, you have the widest range, or, the most expert knowledge. I have a healthcare company, by the way, and so we have a panel of doctors, and we're constantly doing advertising to position our doctors as the best experts in India online, right? So, I mean, I would say about 30-40% of our marketing expense goes in there, to position our doctors, our, medical experts as, the best in the field, right? Okay, and finally, of course, threats. What are the big problems? What are the hurdles? Hurdles could be, right now this morning was GST for me, right? It could be technology. It could be a very fickle-minded consumer, who's just interested in discounts. That's the big hurdle e-commerce faces. There's no brand loyalty, right? And of course, what are your competitors doing or not doing? Okay. So broadly, you do a digital SWOT before anything else, right? And then what do you want to do really? Because I do a little bit of consulting, actually, lots of consulting, too much, and I've been in advertising for a long time. And when I ask a client, what do you want to do? And first thing that they say is, well, we want to sell. And they see digital marketing as a ATM machine. They'll put in money, or better still, not put in any money, free. They want a free ride just because their Facebook is, good enough for people to jump in and become their fans and start buying for them. Okay. Sulakshana, can you hear me?
All good, Shubho. You're all good.
Hello?
Yeah, you are all good. I can hear you. Shubho, you are all good. I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Sulakshana?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please continue.
I'm good. Hello?
You are all good. I can hear you. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, I can hear you. Please continue.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. So as I was saying, a lot of, clients or brands, when I kind of connect with them, have the first meeting and I ask them, what do you want to do? They say, oh, we want to sell, X, Y, Z. But that's if you look at a marketing funnel, and I'm sure most of you know what a marketing funnel is. You start at a point, and the last point is after you do a lot of things, you get to selling stuff. You don't walk in and start selling stuff. It's like, you go to a party, you go to a, dinner, a friend's dinner. You don't just stick out your card and start selling, right? You kind of build a relationship first. So anyway, so I hear a lot of, well, I want to build awareness, okay, or well, I want to do engagement. Now, to my mind, these are very top line, helicopter level kind of opinions, for the lack of a better word. You have to deep dive in and kind of, identify what you want to do. Do you want to generate leads for your e-commerce business? Do you want to build a prospect base for an emailing list, right? Do you want to encourage participation for a social event? Like I'm sure you've seen these Facebook events. Sometimes you click going or, not interested, whatever. Do you build customer loyalty? There are many things you can say, Do you want to shift consumer perception? That's very difficult, by the way. Do you want to influence key opinion formers? So, or something which is not in this list, so, just deep dive in and lock in what you want to do, Okay. You can't say, well, I want to build awareness. That means you don't have a plan, right? Okay. In a similar way, what you need to do is, what I just took you through the last 2-3 slides, assessment of your social media capabilities. Just read digital here instead of social media. That kind of works fine too, because digital is social, social is digital, right? So 360-degree assessment of your capabilities, spelling out goals very clearly. Goals are, like in the last slide, I want to increase viewership of my TV channel. That could be a goal. I could drive people to an offline event at my shop. That could be a goal. So you need to have a very clear, measurable goal. A goal which cannot be measured is not a goal. That's ambition, right? Like I want to marry Cindy Crawford. So that's as big as it is if you don't have a numbers-driven goal. Okay. Then you've got to identify an online community, your customers. You should know very well who your customers are. The other mistake, a lot of brand managers make is thinking that everybody is interested in their product or service, or, everybody wants to talk to them, engage with them. Not at all, You've got to identify the people that you want to connect with, and not just identify where they are, what they're doing, what is their online behavior. You can do this through some tools, online tools. Some of them are free, some of them are very expensive, like this things, of course, uses social tools and platforms, etc. And of course, lay out a metrics program, as in figure out what the numbers are, how do you call yourself successful? What happens? What are the 3 things that you need to do to call yourself successful, all right? So, for example, there's this, my team is handling something for a steel company, right, which is not exactly the first thing you think of when you think social media, but there's a plan, I think, in place, and the first thing they need to do is get a lot of people in. So, they're targeting relevant audiences across LinkedIn primarily and other platforms. So these guys come in, they join the groups, some discussion starts. Anyway, so these are the strategic plan elements. Now we get to the big daddy or the big mama of what I'm going to tell you. It's called post. Okay, so post is, if you can hear a cat in the background, please excuse. Cat doesn't understand English. Okay. Okay, so there's something called 4-step approach to social media strategy. POST is people, objectives, strategy, and technology, right? So, like I was saying a minute earlier, first thing you got to do is, who is your customer? Who's your audience? Where is your audience? What is your audience doing? Okay. How does your audience kind of engage with other brands, right? How is your audience engaging with other brands? How does like I was showing in the video a little earlier, your audience is out there complaining on Twitter, right? Okay, so, and audience interested in, say, electronic items. So that's your audience. Okay. Second is, what do you want to do? Right? What's your objective? What do you want to accomplish? And accomplish can't be, oh, I want to drive awareness. It needs to have a number, right? Without, if you can't measure it, don't even do it on social media, on digital, right? So you have to say, I want to get 500 leads for my e-commerce business in the next 30 days, right? That's your very clear objective, you know. Objective is not poetry, it's very boring prose, you know, if you forgive the first analogy. And of course, strategy. How do you kind of make your get to your objective? How do you get there, right? That's the strategy. As your communication plan, your creative, you know, advertising, etc., everything is inside your strategy. Okay, so plan for how relationships with customers will change, which is right now your customer doesn't even know that you exist. How do you, you know, like the typical marketing funnel, you start with awareness, you start with, you know, a little bit of engagement, then third step is your, you know, customers start coming with you, coming to you, then, you know, they kind of consider your product or your service, then they buy, you know, maybe online if you're, you know, online kind of business. Okay, how does your customer return to you, right? Sorry, why does your customer return to you? And finally, how do you make your customer an advocate, an online ambassador, an influencer? So all this is, you know, the changing the customer's mindset, you know, turning it from an opinion, an idea about you to action, positive action that helps you or your brand, right? And the final one is T, of course, technology. And it's very simple. Technology is, you know, could be social media platform. It could be Instagram. You know, I know this lady in Calcutta who sells about, you know, 60,000 or 17 rupees of junk jewelry every you know, week on Instagram. Can you just take this guy away? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to do something about the cat. So how, you know, what is the platform that you're going to use? You know, is it an app-driven business? Is it, you know, completely offline business? Actually, you have a shop, you're in the retail business, and you're just kind of driving people to, you know, footfalls to your shop. So, you know, that's technology. Don't worry about it. Technology is like toothpaste. You go to a mall, you go to a market and buy it. You don't have to be a great technologist to make your business work, right? But you need to have your strategy right. You know, strategy must be perfect. And to make your strategy perfect, you've got to really do your homework for a while, you know, week, 2 weeks, whatever it takes. Figure out who your audience is, the people, figure out what you want to do. In fact, you know, it doesn't go in a linear kind of fashion, POST. You can start with this. I usually start here. What do I want to do, right? And then I go on to, you know, so who are the people who are with me if I want to stay here, if I want to go here, right? So for example, if I want to sell, say, you know, sports clothes, you know, activewear for women, you know. So, you know, I want to sell 100 pieces of activewear from my website, from my app, you know. Who do I sell it to? Obviously, it's women, right? Women who are working out at gyms, they're running, they're cycling, etc. And what are they doing? Maybe a lot of them are on Instagram, you know, sharing pictures, sharing selfies of working out. So, you know, it kind of falls in place, right? Okay, so that's POST. And as you can see, this is from 2007. It's about 10 years old. It hasn't really changed. Even the basics remain the same. You can see this in other things, but I'm kind of comfortable using this Forrester thing because it's so simple, you know, POST. That's all you need to know. People, objective, strategy, and technology. Okay. Now, okay, just spelling it out a little more, you know, more or less what I took you guys through. People is who's your audience, demographically, geographically, you know, psychographics also, you know, the feelings, right? Where are they? What digital platforms? Please read digital platforms, which includes apps, which is very mobile driven these days, by the way. Did you know that about 70-80% of, you know, engagement, you know, time spent on internet is on mobile these days, right? And who are the followers and who are the influencers? Influencers are, you know, I'm sure you've heard of the word influencers. They're very, the people with some kind of following, not just following on various platforms, okay, but it's also people with who can influence your buying habits. You see this model using athlete using a particular brand of shoes, even if it's not a famous athlete, even if it's a small time highly local kind of hero kind of athlete, you might consider that the brand of shoes. And that's what a lot of local heroes, local influencers are doing on platforms like Instagram. That's why I'm so bullish on Instagram. Okay, next is, what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish through using social media? Is it sales? Is it customer service? Airtel, for example, is very, very serious about customer service, for obvious reasons. The first video that I showed you, the Best Buy video, that's also about customer service, right? What do you want customers to say about your brand? As in, what do you want customers to do about your brand, really? Buy it, but buy it how? What are the touch points? What are the various touch points where they communicate, connect with your brand, build a relationship with your brand, not just the final buying of your product. And of course, how do you measure your objectives? How do you measure success versus failure, right? A lot of times I see, brand managers are very happy with likes, and I mean likes in a broad sense. It could be showing interest in something on Google for that matter, but they don't buy, right? So you can't get too excited about something which is irrelevant to the final, action that you want your customers to take, which is buy, right? So you need to have your objectives very clearly mapped out, right? And of course, your strategy. How do you begin to, especially if you're new, nobody knows you, right? How do you create awareness about your product or your service, especially with a low budget? I'll come to that, which is basically this one word out here: content. Great content almost never fails. Great content needs a little bit of push, a little bit of paid advertising, but you need to think content. Like I told someone, I had a long argument yesterday with a client. I was telling him, digital isn't an ATM machine. You don't just press a few buttons and your new 500 notes don't pour out. It's a longer term relationship. You've got to build relationships using relevant content, you have to be a value, right? So anyway, so are you going to create content? Are you going to share content, from somewhere else? Third, who's going to do this? Who's in charge? How are you going to do it, right? And so on. And finally, the toothpaste in the mall thing. What platforms are you going to use? And this is very important, how are you going to measure? What measurement or management tools are you going to use? How are you going to measure performance on the fly? I wish I could show you a couple of apps which are very good at, mobile apps, where you can measure performance on the fly, without opening up a desktop or laptop. Okay, so that's POST. A couple of social tools, since we're talking about, people, how do you start off? Just one second. How do you start off? Where do you start? So you start with something called social mention. Both tools, social mention and Google Alerts are free tools, by the way. You can just go and use them, download them, whatever. Okay. So social mention, I'm sure you can read real-time social media search and analysis. What is happening on social, and social media as an open social media, not your Facebook page, but Facebook groups, fan pages. It could be, blogs. It could be, many other places, right? So, you just type in your area of expertise, maybe your brand, maybe, leggings. In my case, activewear company, it's leggings, Gurgaon. So, I want to see, women in Gurgaon talking about leggings. What is the conversation that is happening, right? I could set up, by the way, I'm being a little superficial. I'm not diving in deep in the, absence of time, but I'm just trying to give you a broad idea of how, social listening works. Then there's, of course, Google Alerts. okay, which is a fantastic thing, which is anything to do with your brand, and you can set the parameters, your brand name. Your brand name might not be very famous since you're starting off, but your category could be, so again, leggings. Who's talking about leggings in Delhi, right? So any news item, etc. This is going to, it'll come in your email, I think, and you can set it, do you want an hourly report or a daily or a weekly report, or, etc., etc. So you can start off with these two, and of course there's some more. I forgot the slide, right? So there's social mention, which I took you through. There's Google Alerts. There's Google Trends. There's Facebook Insights. There's Trends Map for Twitter. There are many different things. There's Cloud for individual. I'm not sure Cloud still exists, but anyway, this measures individuals, social influence, right? Okay. And there's Topsy, of course. Topsy is very good for Topsy is a bit like social mention. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what do you search? You search for category, company, product name, service name, your competition, employee activities, etc. Where do you search? You can search at, these will take you to these places, video, sharing, news groups, blogs, Facebook, forums, microblogs, etc., etc. Okay. And these are the things that you should be looking at, after that surface, demographic driven kind of thing, which is what do people feel about your brand, and chances are they've never heard of your brand, right? But at least figure out what do people feel about your category, what are the words they associate with it. Try and build up a word cloud. So you can find out these, you have these, free tools, word cloud tools, you can use that too. Where is the more interesting conversations happening? For example, if you're into cars, if you're into auto, there's, Auto and Bike International or something like that. I think it's an HP sponsored thing. Anyway, what do people talk about your competitors? What is your share of voice? Are people talking about, not talking about your category at all? Are you in the wrong business? Then you do something called sentiment analysis, which is positive. Are people feeling positive, negative about something? What are the emerging issues? And very important these days, who are the influencers? Like I was saying, that in activewear for women in India, there are about 10 women who work out regularly, write about their experiences, put up short videos, etc. So its influences are very important, right? This slide should have been a little earlier. I've taken you through it, but I'll kind of repeat it again. Okay. Right. Just one second. Yeah. Okay. So this is a marketing funnel. Really, it's a marketing funnel for digital marketing. So at a top level, thank you. At a top level, first level, and I'm assuming if nobody knows who you are, right? Not if you're Coca-Cola, right? The most recognized brand on the planet. But if you're someone who nobody really knows about, first thing you've got to do is awareness, right? You have to speak the language of reach. You have to speak the language of followers, friends of fans, etc. Right? So you create awareness about your brand. That's the first thing. Second thing that you start doing is build relationships through engagement. You get people talking about you. You get comments. You answer comments, right? Number of queries satisfactorily answered. Again, going back to the first video, the Best Buy video that I showed you, right? People need to share your content, retweet your content, refer your content to other people, right? And from a basic engagement kind of thing, people move on to advocacy, which is they start quoting your content as authority, right? So that's a fantastic place to be, right? And of course, if you've done this, this goes hand in hand, which is inquiries, which includes leads, registrations, conversions, purchase, and then of course repeat purchase. Okay. Now, some of you must be thinking, how do you kind of survive in an era of discounts, especially if you're from a internet-driven, consumer-driven business, internet business. Okay. So, while discounts, etc., are very important, you cannot get away from building a brand. And, the big guys, Amazon, Flipkart, etc., they invest millions and millions and millions of rupees in building the brands, talking about the range, talking about many different things, right? Not in the classic advertising sense, but more a brand building sense, right? Okay, yes. Now I want to take you through, where is it? Sorry. I want to say a couple of words about content. What is content? Let me just see if I can. That's the last slide, but let me look. Just give me a minute, please. I have about 7 minutes for your Q&As to begin, but I want to say a little bit about content because it's so important. I can't find that slide, and I apologize, but let's just do it from here. So content is the most important piece in digital marketing. Okay, content is basically the lighthouse for your brand, for your service. Okay, in a dark ocean. Content is basically the oasis in a desert, right? People get online to look for content which helps them find the nearest restaurant, or it could be a video, it could be anything else, right? So you need to have a super content strategy. Okay, in fact, I would love to do a webinar only on content because it's so important, becoming so important these days, where everyone is giving 29.99% discount on something. Content is what separates them from boys, to use a slightly dated analogy, right? So you need to know what is the original content that you can create on your own about your product, about your brand. Do you need third-party content? Basically, there are many kinds of content. The basic starting point could be content that builds some kind of an aura about your brand. Okay. Then it could be content that highlights your, offerings, show your products. For example, if you're selling shoes, you got to show shoes and interesting things that your shoes can do. If it's running shoes, you've got to create content about running, of course, not just the technology of the shoe. So, the entire content ecosystem, you need to spend at least a week sitting and thinking about a content strategy, right? And then different kinds of content, like, let's just go back, in fact, just go back to this slide, different kinds of content work on different places, different platforms. It's not one size fits all, right? So Instagram has to be very visual, right? Very visual driven. The story must be told through pictures, So that's Instagram. Facebook is also story, visual driven, video driven, etc. But Facebook is, in my experience, a little cheaper to experiment on. Instagram is actually about 5 times more expensive, right? And I'm talking about spending paid media, which you have to do at some point. So, Facebook is to tell a slower story, create your brand slowly, right? Instagram is very fast. It's just like Twitter, right? I can't see Tinder out here because Tinder probably didn't exist when this thing was done about 3 or 4 years back. Okay, so Tinder has become a great recruiting tool also, right? I see a lot of HR professionals on Tinder, right? For other reasons also, I'm sure, right? So, yeah, and there's YouTube. You need to be on YouTube. YouTube has become the search. YouTube is slowly replacing Google search as we know it into a new search medium. I know a lot of young people who live on YouTube, and I'm not talking about Bollywood, entertainment content, but educational content. How to do this. I know so many people who are building websites with just, looking at YouTube tutorials. Probably not the right thing to do, but, you get the gist, right? So a lot of these things are happening, and, you need to, so a lot of these new platforms emerging, and you need to tailor your content to appeal to certain audiences at different places, you know, so take your content strategy very seriously. Content is basically storytelling, right? And being Indian, I'm sure, I'm assuming everyone in this webinar is Indian, of Indian origin, grown up in India. So we are a huge storytelling kind of culture, Um, we have 5,000 communities. So I've heard in India, every community has its own different, story, right? So regional stories, the other big thing that's happening in the internet space is Indian languages, which are so poorly represented online. Everything in English, right? So as we kind of move forward, think about regional content, language content, and language. I don't just mean Hindi. It could be Assamese, it could be Telugu, Odia, whatever. It depends on your audience, where you sell. Start creating these, content in local languages. I saw this. I saw this little video, or a GIF kind of thing, really, about a Bengali woman explaining different Bengali words, meanings, and it all kind of built awareness around the brand, which I think was a travel brand. So it's a wonderful way of using regional content. All right. So that is it. That's where I'd like to end. I think my time, I've got about 2 minutes left for the Q&A to begin. 10-minute, 15-minute Q&A actually. And to come to the last slide, fish where the fish are. Don't jump into something new and shiny. Plug in first. Listen, participate. Don't just jump in and start talking. Don't control, but engage. And finally, what I said earlier, if you can't measure it, don't even think about doing it, right? So that is it, and I look forward to taking your questions. Sulakshana?
Yeah, I'm all set. So now I'm opening the line for Neelam Sharma. Neelam, you can post your question to Shubho.
Can't she talk? Can't I hear her? No?
Yeah, you can hear her. I'm trying to unmute her.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Neelam, you can just
Hello.
talk to Shubho. Yes.
Yes, I'm a commerce faculty. Hello.
Yeah, Neelam, hi. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good, thank you. Actually, I'm a commerce faculty. I basically teach, and I wanted to bring ahead my business on the online platform using digital marketing or any other social media platforms which would enhance me to do something good in this particular field. So what would be good according to you? I mean, what would you recommend?
What is your product or service to market online?
It's basically I teach, so the entire commerce subjects, I mean everything put together.
Okay, you want to use digital marketing to get, to teach basically. That's your audience,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that's massive. That's massive, and there's no age target. Do you give out a certificate or something, or you teach according to a certain?
No, it's basically just a particular university oriented. I belong to Bangalore, so every university has their own specified set syllabus.
Okay.
So when you have to go according to that, would YouTube fetch me better returns in the consumer wise, like people who tend to come subscribers, improve myself on the online platform?
Are you talking about connecting with customers or improving yourself, right?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes, that's
Hello?
what I meant to say. Hello?
Is it the second? I mean, improving yourself, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing you should go to, first place you should go to is Quora.
Right.
Quora is like a Q&A for social media platform. It's Q&A. You get a very consistently high standard of questions and answers, and you get your answers get ranked by peers, by people you're talking to, etc. So Quora, definitely try and you should try LinkedIn groups also. Marketing. You mentioned marketing, right?
Yes.
Commerce. Sorry. So you could try and look around LinkedIn groups. Okay. And all platforms are also search platforms these days. The Google search is now on YouTube. It's on Instagram. Hashtag is the new search tool, right? You'll find everything, but do
Okay.
your Quora first. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
So now the next question is from Jagdish Kumar.
Hi, Jagdish. Jagdish.
Yeah, Jagdish, can you speak out? You have muted yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, hello, sir. Yeah, I want to.
Hi, Jagdish. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, sir. I'm aspiring to become digital media strategist. So where do
Okay.
from where I can start, and what are the key points I should remember?
Okay. All right. So, first thing that you have to do is, get some, familiarize yourself with listening tools, with free listening tools. You have to kind of, use tools like Google Trends, Google Alerts. Google has, hundreds of free tools which you can use to listen to your consumers. Where they are, what they're doing, and so on. So jump into using these free tools. Download them, use them for a day or two, and delete them. Download some more. Get into the newer platforms like Instagram, Snapchats. Just listen to conversations. That's the start. That's the place that you start using these free listening tools. Once you do that, you'll kind of arrive at a plan, a shape, a strategy, and so on. So that is what I would say. First, start listening. Use technology, these tools. That's the step one, and that's the most important step, actually. People jump into, step 3, step 4 without figuring out how to listen. If you can listen, you're a good marketer. So, in the interest of time, that's the only thing that I'll tell you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next question, I am opening for Arvind. Arvind, you can unmute yourself. Yeah, and Arvind, you can speak out your question. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Hi, Arvind. How are you?
Yes, sir, I am good. Sir, actually, I recently I started my own startup regarding that virtual reality, and actually I don't know much about the digital marketing, and now I am thinking about that to start classes for the students here in India. Actually, I am basically from Indore, so actually here there is no such a platform to learn digital marketing. So means how could I do that? I think I can. Hello.
Yeah, I heard your question. See, there are many
Yes, sir, sorry.
online. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, no problem. So what I was saying is there are many online digital courses. There are many offline, digital courses. So you'll have to kind of see what you want. There are some at the entry level. There are some at, very advanced level. But, like I was, saying a little, the earlier question, which is, best place to get into digital marketing is, just figure out different listening tools, start using them. Google Trends, for example. I was spent half an hour this morning on Google Trends, trying to figure out, how popular 3 different brands were, right? So anyway, So, start using these listening tools. Let me just go back to that slide since I'll keep going back and forth on it. So, use these tools, Social Mansion, Alexa, Google, Cloud, Topsy, Transmap, use all these tools. They're all free. Just, jump in and, spend a lot of time kind of figuring out, your business. What do people feel about your category? What are the problems? What are the opportunities? What are the roadblocks? That's where you start off. Spend at least 1 month doing this. Yeah.
And sir, how much money means basically money we needed to do digital marketing at initial level actually?
I think there are some very good, I can't remember the names, but some institutes which start at, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 or something like that. I can't remember the names, sorry. But there are some online courses also. I would suggest, you try and do it free. Again, I can't remember names, but there are some online, lot of online videos which you can, start off with. They're free.
No, sir, actually, I want to ask you that if I start if recently I have my own startup, so I want to use digital marketing to promote my product. So in that, how much money I needed to
Acha, you get it that way. What is your product? What is your product?
Yes. Sir, a virtual reality
What is
headset.
your product?
Headset. VR headset.
I understand. Just two things to do. One is create a, are you on Amazon? Do you sell on Amazon?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I am using Snapdeal to promote my product.
Okay, so jump onto Amazon. Snapdeal, I don't know how far it will be around. Jump onto Amazon and create a page and start selling, right? Also create a Facebook and, create an Instagram page. Are you on Instagram?
Yes, sir. I am on Instagram.
Okay. So use Instagram, do a lot of hashtags, try and build a music community or at least be part of a music community that already exists. Don't create something new, try and join something which is already there. That's far more advisable. And do that, go across all places and, follow hashtags, create hashtags. Try and create a community. That's very important. And everything should be driven to your Amazon page or Snapdeal page in this case.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm giving you a very superficial answer in the interest of time.
It's okay, sir. That's great.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Avinash, you can please put your question. Avinash? Avinash? Avinash, you are self-muted. You can please ask your question. Okay, so Shubho, the question that Avinash had was, with so many channels to distribute, how should we go about developing our marketing strategy? And what to track or measure in the first year of digital marketing strategy?
See, it depends on what your product or your service is. It completely depends on that. And you should use something that you're comfortable with, something which is very simple to monitor, to use, on a regular basis. You should not jump into, just because you've got 5 channels, jump into 5 channels. I always say, for the first 6 months, take the most obvious channel and just try to master it, because, social media is social media. The basic ground rules are the same. So that's the best answer that I can give. Start with what you're comfortable with. So start with something that makes sense for your product, for your brand first, before you jump into other things. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So next question is from Ankur. I'm opening the line for Ankur. Ankur, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Hello, Ankur. Yeah. Please pick up, Ankur. Ankur, you can speak now. Ankur, we are not able to hear you clearly. Hello? Okay, maybe Ankur is not ready yet. We are not able to hear him clearly. There is one question from Ruchika. Ruchika, can you speak?
Yeah.
Hi, Ruchika.
Hi, Shubho. I actually have a question related to content marketing only. So I have my own jewelry brand, Platinum Jewelry online brand. So uh, this is related to my own brand and to understand the service kind of startups also. So I wanted to understand if you could help me tell the ratio of the content split. So for example, like you said that if you're initially starting, so talk more about your product or services in by figuring out different avenues. That is one. And two, what would be the split for external content driven related website like TED Talks videos or some research paper or studies or something else? So what should be the ratio?
Your question is how much content should you create and how much should you take from third parties? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So again, it depends on your capabilities right now. If you're short of money, at least get the right content in if you're using third-party content, all right? The money that you spend in paid push, it should always be for your products. Where do you sell? How do you sell? Do you have a page on Amazon or something?
So we have our own website on the Shopify platform. So what we are right now focusing is online marketing, that is like content marketing, influencer marketing, and some social media, as in social media related post. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've done a lot of things on your own. So, you're doing the right thing. So do you have a blog, Shopify blog?
Yeah, we have our own Shopify blog for the website as well. So we do
Okay,
focus
very
on
good.
the blog as well.
So very good. I would say, keep your primary medium Instagram followed by Facebook. Okay. So, just keep posting great, just do a great job of targeting because, content, if it doesn't get through to the right places, right people, it's useless. So do a lot of targeting, do some bit of push, though, Instagram is very expensive. It's about 5 or 10 times more expensive than Facebook. But keep doing it, and on Facebook, try and increase your, reach as much as you can. And of course, Facebook and Instagram, both are the same owner. So, the handshake will be easier. So keep focusing on these two, drive traffic to, your Shopify cart through great content. Keep doing this.
Okay, thank you so much. I have another question. So usually
Sure.
people go a little overboard in terms of posting on social media platforms like twice a day or every day, and like our timeline, the time as in our feed gets so much bombarded. So is there any standard thumb rule wherein how many posts we should make in a in a month or in a week so that we really don't buzz off our target audience or the followers?
Yeah, again, it depends on what your category is, what your brand is. So if you're a news platform, for example, say news in shorts or something like that, where it's, news has to be real time. So, even 500 posts a day is fine on Twitter, for example, if there's a cricket match happening. But if you're a jewelry brand, which is, I think, what you mentioned, maybe maybe not more than 3 or 4 a week. Facebook or Instagram. Coffee, don't need more than that really. But that's the minimum.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Vikas, can you ask your question? Hello, Vikas. I have unmuted you. Please ask your question. Okay, Shubho, the question that had come from Vikas was, what all parameters we should be measuring our digital marketing efforts on?
I think it's, the two big parameters are, reach, as in how many people have seen your content, that is one. But more important actually is engagement. Engagement depends, what your goal, what your objective is. Engagement could be just a basic, like kind of thing. Engagement could be inquiries. It could be, leading up to a sale almost, So it depends on, what your service is, whatever. So that's why I'm saying keep exploring what your competitors are doing, what platforms, what channels they are doing, what are the parameters of success, right? If you're in the e-commerce business, it's traffic, of course. Traffic moving from one place to another, from Instagram to your website, for example, right? Or Amazon page on Amazon, whatever. So it has to be a measurable action. That is it. Yeah.
Ankur, I have unmuted you. You can please ask your question. Ankur?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes,
you.
I can, Ankur. How are you?
Yeah.
Hey, hi, Shubho. Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm good, thank you.
Great. By the way, the great presentation, man. Really useful.
Thank
I got one question. I got a digital product. You probably must be familiar with SurveyMonkey, where you can go ahead and my pleasure. Okay, so I got a digital product. It's an online survey platform. You must be familiar with SurveyMonkey, where you go author a survey and then distribute it and collect the response and then for the analyzer. So I have a product which does precisely the same thing, but the USPs are that it looks better than SurveyMonkey, how SurveyMonkey does. And apart from that, we can easily compete on pricing. If we don't talk about India, the minimum pricing they got is of $20 per month, and then $20 annual package, and then on the higher side, $35 per month. What I'm trying to do is something close to $10, $20, and that's it for now. Okay. Now, I'm failing to understand is, my challenge is that how can I increase my digital footprint from link building perspective? So I have talked to several agencies, and all they try to do is that, okay, they tell me that they got this many package of 10,000, 20,000 and this much, and where they will do the paid advertising and they will do the link submission. But the challenge is they don't try to understand my business or the kind of customer I got, or my target audience, or anything like that. So that is the problem, and that's why what I've decided that, okay, I need to do it on my own. But
yeah. Can't hear.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So can you give me any pointer regarding link building from SEO? Hello. Okay. So did you hear the question?
Yeah, I heard your question in bits and pieces. The connection isn't very good, but I understand broadly what you are doing. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. So my question is, how can I do the link building?
I've heard your question.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I've heard your question. Yes, okay. Yes, I've heard your question. So first of all, I use SurveyMonkey. I'm not very happy with it either. So I think there is an opportunity for your product, for your service. Okay. And I think there are many, many people like me who feel SurveyMonkey is too, it's not Indian enough, for Indian audiences. So I haven't been through your, but if you can fill that, if you can plug that, gap, then you have a good thing going. So that's the first thing that I want to say. So you're in a good space, right?
Okay, great.
Okay. Number two is link building, etc. I don't know if you decided to do it yourself. That's the best thing that you could do, even if it's in a small, kind of scale. Because agencies for link building, they work only at a medium to large size, right? Smaller kind of thing, I'm not very sure. So if you're doing it yourself, that's very good. How to do it, I don't know. We can connect offline. I'll be very happy to share my experiences, but I really can't say, unless I get into your product a little more. But top line, it's a great space to be in. And number two, because there's a huge need gap. Okay. And number two, if you're doing it yourself, that's the best thing to do.
Yeah. All right. Great. So I've dropped you my email.
All of your questions, so I can't give you a very good answer, but that's the best that I could manage.
I understand. considering time constraint, it's the best answer I could get. Okay, I've dropped you my web address, so in case if you get time or you'd like to check it out, you can do that.
Yes,
and
I'll
also
definitely
try
get
to
back.
great.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I will
I'll
get
try,
back, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, and I'll try to find your email address so that we can take it further, if that's okay with you. So if
Yeah,
you
it's
can
very
drop.
simple.
Yeah.
Shubho.sengupta@gmail.com. That's it. Yeah.
Also on WF.
Your first name dot last name at Gmail.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Ankur,
All right, thank you. Thanks for
you
now.
can also ask for mentoring from Shubho via WFNEN site. So you can also log in from there and you can just take up mentoring with Shubho. So that is also an idea.
Yes, in fact,
Given
thank
your
you for
product,
mentioning. In fact,
yeah,
I would prefer it if you went to the, NEN Mentors Network and, just ping me and, I'm there. It would be faster,
Sure,
actually.
sure, great. So I'll be in touch with you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Javed, can you ask your question to Shubho? And we have to be really quick. I mean to say we are going slightly extended time.
Sure. Hello. Hi, Shubho.
Yeah.
Hi, Javed.
So we are into construction materials of B2B business. So most of our customers are not on Facebook or Insta. So I don't know which platform is the right strategy for us to target. So I think LinkedIn would be the best one. What I think. What you will suggest apart from the LinkedIn? How should we make our strategy?
Yeah. Okay, Javed. First of all, your customers are online on social media, so you can't say they're not.
Not all.
Everyone is everywhere.
Not all.
Everyone is everywhere. It's just people may not be interested in
the right people. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So if you go backwards, yeah, because I'm doing something similar. I'm doing it for a particular client who sells, who's into steel actually.
Okay, so steel is one of the part that we also sell. That's our NKT steel, and apart from steel, cement, and so many materials that we are into. So,
right. So if you go back, they're interested in beautiful homes, right? So what I'm trying to do, what my team is trying to do is create an award, an online award for great homes, beautiful homes. So you can't sell directly, which is fine. Okay, but at least I can create in an area which is very close to the sale. So then it becomes a little easier for me to do B2B when I finally get to that point. You understand? I create a lot of engagement around a particular point in the construction industry ecosystem. Okay, and I create a lot of love and good feelings, etc. out there. So then when I start selling the actual product, it becomes much easier for me.
Okay.
Right, and LinkedIn is good, but try and build a community which is interested in something related to your product, and community building happens very well on Facebook.
Okay, the Facebook, and we should start writing the blogs also.
Absolutely, a blog is actually more important than anything else.
Okay, but apart from that, you say that Facebook would be, because we are not going to for the retail consumer retail segment, so we are targeting the B2B business. So they I don't know how much they are active on Facebook. For personal life, they might be there.
You don't have to jump into Facebook. You do it slowly. Focus on LinkedIn. Focus on building a group. Write your blog. Create content for your blog. At least be present.
Sure.
If not anything, at least be present with the right, rational, good kind of stuff. At least be present.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, when people are looking for something.
Yes.
Yeah, let me just finish. I'm saying when people are looking for something related to your product, they should be able to find you at least, and they can only find you if you put regular content out. It doesn't have to be fantastic, genius content, but at least some basic stuff you have to put out.
Okay, that's very good suggestion.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Jyotishman, you can reach out with a question.
Yes, good afternoon, Shubho.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, I actually do digital marketing, and I have a company, and we are
Wonderful.
servicing
Okay.
small and medium businesses around Mumbai.
Okay.
And our mostly service area is web design, development, content creation, and search marketing.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
quite a few times we come across small businesses uh, who are willing to start with social media, but they're not sure about how to go about the medium, number one, and number two, the amount of time to be allocated. So
Okay.
like just a guidance on how to go about that, and basically learning a new platform would almost take at least 4 to 6 months of time. So what is your recommendation for them on the amount of time they can allocate in a particular channel?
What is the amount of time your client can allocate or you can allocate, or I didn't understand.
Yeah, they would like to do it themselves.
Okay.
So they they would want to know about how to go about the channel choice, which I can guide them with. But regarding the amount of time they need to put in, because all the businesses have different goals. Again, it's not always about awareness building or engagement. Some of them would actually look for generating leads. So, the second question that arises from here is how what is your experience of generating leads from social media, both the paid version and the organic one?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll start with your last question. So I have businesses which are completely lead driven on social media, right? So, awareness is useless. We want to get to the leads as quickly as possible, right? So, so there are different points in the ecosystem. So what is your business model? Is it training your customers to do marketing on their own? I didn't understand.
And the thing is, I do web design development. I create content for them, but I don't do the social media part as such. So I just create the content and give the content to them. So it's basically articles, blogs, small images kind of things that they can use for their platform.
Okay.
So we just create the content and give it to them, and then they use it themselves.
So that's good. So where is the problem? I didn't understand. They are asking you what to do. I mean, media, to help out on media. I didn't understand.
There's two things. Basically, some of them would like to know about how to go about social media, the amount of time and the return. So, a lot of them might have engagement, and then, might not have the leads. So your experience about generating leads from organic social media use versus the paid.
See, I will answer only one question. You asked 3-4 different questions. It will take a long time to answer everything. So I will answer your first question, which is how much time should your clients devote to social media if they did it themselves. I don't know what your clients are like, what their objectives, goals are. I have no idea. But to give you a rule of thumb kind of thing, about an hour a day, 1 hour a day is fine.
Okay. And secondly, your experience of paid campaigns in social media to generate leads.
Yeah, you have to do paid. It can't be organic. Yeah, you have to push. But if your content is good, you end up spending less money. Yeah, if your content is bad, you have to push it. I mean, spend more money, that is. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sulakshana?
Hello?
Yeah, Shubho?
Yeah, I'm around.
Yeah, Akriti, you can please ask your question very, very quickly.
Yeah, hi. So I'm working with an organization that offers affordable mental health services, and we are running a Facebook page, and we are creating a lot of original content, but we don't have a lot of followers. So how should we go about getting people to really come to us and look at our content and really seek our services?
Okay, fantastic. What you're doing is very good. I try and support organizations like you every chance I get.
Thank you.
So, see, broadly, I think you've got to create individual stories, narratives. I don't know, I haven't seen your page. I don't know, maybe you do great stuff. But broadly, you've got to create individual stories. You've got to create events, both online and offline. You've got to mailing lists, of social media. Do you have mailing list?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So mailing lists should be, I mean, you should do a, referral kind of program also, so that list increases. Do you raise funds online? Do you try to raise funds?
All right.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you do fundraising online?
No, we don't do fundraising.
So you should try websites like, bidgiving.com or milab.com to raise funds. You don't just raise funds, a lot of awareness also, and it's a free service, right? As in they charge you 2%, whatever, but you can try different, you do strategy starting around awareness, because mental health is still a, kind of a new area.
Yes.
Non-profits, yeah. So create awareness, do tie-ups with other NGOs, with other for-profits, brands, basically, get them to promote you, for
All right.
Yeah. So many different things you can do. We can connect offline through the NEN, this mentorship thing if you want. I'm
Yes,
very
I
happy
shall
to
do
have.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Deepak, you can ask your question. Hello, Deepak. Deepak, I have unmuted you. You can ask your question. Okay, so I'm opening the line next for Jitin. Jitin, you can please ask your question. Hi, Jitin. Jitin, you can please ask your question. Jitin, your voice is not audible. Hi, Jitin. No, Jitin.
Hello.
Yeah, Jitin, you can please
Hi,
talk now.
Jitin.
Jitin, you can please ask your question. No, we are not able to hear much from Jitin. So there is one question from Vikas. It comes as, do Facebook postings also show up in Google search? Hello?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
But not your individual page thing, because it's, restricted to your friends, but, fan pages, groups, other places. Yes, it does.
Yeah. So he also asks, how do we ensure that our FB posts reach a large number of people and leave footprints across the internet?
You have to kind of keep an eye on what people are talking about, be relevant. That's the first thing to do. So you can't talk about Jupiter when people are on Mars. You have to talk Mars language first. So which is why you should use listening tools. The thing that I have in front of you regularly to find out what people are talking about, what people are discussing, and then create your content around that, not around you. Content is about them, not about you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that answers the question. And keeping in note that we are already extended by almost 30 minutes, I would like to wind up the webinar, and you can definitely connect with Shubho to get his insights and get an advantage out of him via the WFNEN network. So concluding this webinar on digital marketing strategy, it was a pleasure having the webinar session with Shubho, and I truly appreciate the way you had covered each and every topic in detail and also cleared our doubts on the same. And I would like to express my appreciation to the participants on behalf of Wadhwani Foundation, National Entrepreneurship Network for your dedicated participation on the webinar. We would be having another webinar series shortly and would like to bring to you another enriching experience. Wish you success in your endeavor. Thank you all. Thank you, Shubho.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining in, and just jump on the Wadhwani NEN Foundation website and ping me. I'm very happy to connect with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.